of all, thanks for being here today. Appreciate you all coming out here at tuba recital. I have a special guest that I'd like to come up right now. Dr. James Grant is the composer of this piece, and he's in the audience. And I asked him to come up and say a few words about this original composition. So wherever you ended up being.
Good evening, everybody. What a pleasure to be here and to be with these wonderful musicians. 20 years ago, 1993, I can barely remember, Mark was teaching at the University of Vermont in Burlington, and I was teaching at Middlebury College. We were good friends and colleagues. And backstage, at a rehearsal of a piece of mine that was being done by the Vermont Symphony, Mark came up to me and said, "Jim, listen, do you have some time to write me a few short tuba pieces, like maybe 3 simple movements for unaccompanied tuba?" He said he was going on a tour of Japan. He was going to be giving some clinics and concerts, and asked me to write him some pieces that he could learn rather quickly to perform on this concert. He said he'd be able to give performances of them back in the States, and that the tuba repertoire would benefit from this because there wasn't all that much new music being written for the tuba. Now, I had not written for solo tuba before. I'd written for tuba frequently in its context, in an orchestral context, but never as a solo instrument. So I asked Mark if I could meet with him in his office and asked if he would show me what the tuba could do. So I met with him, and I was flabbergasted at the flexibility, the beauty, the majesty of this instrument in the hands of a great player. So I went home. I said, "Yes, I'll write you these pieces." I went home, and over the course of several weeks, I sketched out what I felt would be 3 fairly simple pieces to learn rather quickly so Mark could get these ready for this concert in Japan. So I get a phone call from Mark after I sent him the final drafts, and I heard, I said, "Hello," he said, "Jim?" I said, "Yes," and then I heard it was either hysterical laughter or crying. And I believe it was a combination of the two. And I believe the word spanked came up in the rhetoric that Mark was using. The long and short of it is that these 3 pieces, the 3 Furies for tuba, for unaccompanied tuba, it seems have lodged themselves into the tuba repertoire over the last 2 decades. 3 years after I wrote that piece for Mark, I had the opportunity, I was composer in residence with the Fairfax Symphony Orchestra in Virginia, and I had opportunity to fashion a concerto around the solo tuba line. So I composed an orchestral accompanimental fabric around the single line of the tuba, and that is what you are going to hear tonight with Marie playing the part of the orchestra. This is called the piano reduction version of the piece. And Mark actually premiered that version with orchestra with the Minnesota Pops at the International Tuba Euphonium Conference in 1998. Tonight, this, believe it or not, is the world premiere performance of the piano version of Concerto for Tuba, 3 Furies. So I happily yield the stage to Mark and Marie at this point. Thank you.